And we're live. What's up, my man?
Not much, bro. You?
I'm doing good, man. It was a good week last week. Well, weekend, and a good overall week so far. You know, Steelers won, got a dub. So I was happy about that. But man, my fantasy team, we got stomped. I'm not even gonna lie, we got stomped.
It was that bad?
It was pretty bad. So he ended up. So the guy I was facing, just a little bit of backstory. I was winning on the Thursday, so yeah, the opening night. We both had players play on that night, and then somebody played on Saturday. Did somebody play on Saturday this year?
No, it was Thursday, Friday, and then
Okay, he had somebody play on Friday then, and so whoever he had on Friday scored like a ton of points. I can't remember who it was. And then Sunday came, and I ended up starting. Yeah. Okay. So I ended up starting Joe Burrow, and I had Justin Herbert. And yeah, he had that game, a really good game against Kansas City. And then Joe Burrow had an awful game against Cleveland, of all teams. I was like, okay. And then he had three Baltimore Ravens players. So Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and their receiver, the three that scored like a whole bunch of points. And then that ended up being a high scoring game, and then Buffalo ended up coming back, whatever. So I mean, he got like 70 points just from them three alone. So it was bad. But this week I'm redeeming myself. I'm getting a dub.
yeah, we're gonna have to get this weekly feedback on your fantasy football since you picked your team and sat there and went through the whole draft. You didn't auto draft or nothing. I think
Nope,
that's gonna
did
be
not.
very intriguing to see how trash your picks were or how good they were.
I'm hoping they're not trash. I felt like I had a good team. I still do. Now, I can't the ups and downs of each week to week, I can't control. Just Joe Burrow having an awful game on Sunday was not, in my prediction chart, but whatever, it happens. I still decided to start him this week over Herbert because I feel like he's gonna have a bounce back game because they're playing Jacksonville. So I feel like he's gonna have a bounce back game against them. I'm not too sure. Obviously he could get hurt and then I'm really down bad, something like that. But um, yeah. But the game was cool. Going to the game was super cool. That was a really good experience. I FaceTimed you at a point. We got to go out on the field and all that stuff. And then we went up into the like box seated area and they had food and you could step out and watch the game out there or you could stay inside your box and watch the game. That was really cool. It ended up being a really good game too, so I was super excited. We ended up winning.
So was it standing the whole time, or were you able to did they have like seats or
They had
anything?
seats. So there's I'll give you for anyone interested in this ticket package, right? There's two type packages. There's the package I got, which is the cheaper one. For I don't know if it varies per game or not. I'm assuming the
I'm sure
price
it
per
does.
yeah, I'm assuming the price varies per game, but those tickets they were like 419 a person, which was the field access, and then you went up into the suite or whatever you want to call it, the club lounge, whatever you want to call it. They had free food and free drinks, not alcohol, but regular drinks. And then you could step out, and it was like a box with like seating out there, not the stadium seating, but like chairs and tables so you could eat out there and watch the game. Most people just grabbed the chairs, pushed it up to the front, and watched the game like that because we were in the 200 row, so it was really good seats. There's another tier package where you pay, I think they're like 1,000 a piece, but you actually get individual seats that you can go back and forth to, and they're in the 100 level, so you're like right there. Um, so it really just depends on what you want to spend.
That's dope though. Um, was was it cold? Is that why everybody was inside, or was it just like
No,
you
no, it
weren't
wasn't
missing
cold at
anything?
all. It was raining the first, like it was pretty pouring in the morning, and I honestly thought um might had a rain delay. That was because it was raining really hard and for like a long time, and the MetLife Stadium's outside. So I was like, there could be a rain delay. I don't know. They might try to play through it, whatever. But then, like maybe at 11:30 ish, it should stop raining. It never rained again, so that was good. But it was pretty smooth getting in and out the stadium, though. Not gonna lie, it was a packed game. It wasn't sold out by any means, but it was a pretty packed game. And I mean, the transition in and out was super smooth. They get you in, they get you out fast.
Oh yeah, no, they don't play.
Yeah, they
Time to
don't.
go. It's time to
Yeah.
go. It's
So
like,
we rode the train over. So yeah, I would definitely say if you're in the New York area, you're going to a Jets Giants game. If you're just going to MetLife or anything, ride the train over. It's way easier because it cost $85 to park.
oh, I was gonna say I thought you were talking about taking the train. I was like, damn.
No, no, no. The train don't cost no $85. So it costs $85 to park though. And on Sunday, you have to have a parking pass, NFL parking pass. And so you can either buy a parking pass online for like, $85, or you can get one for the season, but unless you have like season tickets, what would be the point of that? And I mean, that traffic was probably a nightmare getting back though.
Did the subway like drop you off like super close, or did you have to
Yeah,
hoof
it
it?
drops you off right in front of the stadium.
Oh, okay.
They have a stop like straight in front of the stadium.
I was gonna say that would suck if you had to hoof it just for a little bit, just to save
No,
a couple
it's
extra
it's
dollars.
literally right
That's just dope. How did your boy Travis Kelsey play? Because you drafted him, didn't you?
there. Yeah.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you,
know. Can I?
the Taylor Swift curse is upon you.
He did okay. Let me see how many points he had. I think he had like 15 or something. My biggest mistake was not was
I tried to
Herbert
tell
being
you, Joe.
bench.
What's his name? Herbert was gonna have a good game. I'm like 99% sure. I said that during our previous podcast. I said, "Yo, that's gonna be a good one."
I don't know how to go back and see a previous week, but yeah, he didn't do terrible. Let me see. Let me see if I just click on him. Tell me what he had last week.
So, but you do you see how like when I was telling you like
He
the
had 12
difficulties
points.
of
I mean, that's not
fantasy?
terrible.
Oh, that's not too bad. 12 points.
Yeah.
But you see the difficulties of having fantasies because it's like if you're like a diehard fan, like it messes with your emotions because then you gotta like kind of root for some people that
Yeah.
you wouldn't root for. Like if you had someone on Cleveland, you would never root for Cleveland Browns at all. But if you had I don't know Cleveland's defense, then you're like rooting for their defense to play very good, and it's like everyone looks at you like, yo, how you a Steelers fan and you over here rooting for Cleveland right now, So it's like it messes with your morals over every week to week. Like, you got to sit there and be like, do I really got to, that's why I tried to steer away from teams that I know that I'm not going to root for ever. Like, I will never draft a Cowboys player a day in my life. Like, I will never. Like, I don't care if I had, like, I guarantee this person can give me like 40 points a week. I'm not doing it just because I would never root for the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I definitely see. I didn't have only Steelers player I have is Metcalf, and he only had just like a okay game. Rogers looked really good. I won't lie, he looked really good. I feel like there's a little bit of overhype though, because people were talking about he might have an MVP season. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know about all that. He looked okay. He looked good, but yeah,
Pump
well,
your brakes.
yeah, that's. But obviously that Friday, not Friday night, but that Sunday night game, um, was really good, man. That Baltimore Buffalo game was A1. I can't believe Buffalo came back and won that. That was crazy.
Yeah, I was looking at the score. I was like, "Oh, Baltimore got this." And then I like looked at the last 15 seconds and then I was like, "Oh, Cleveland or Buffalo got the ball." And then I looked at to see where they were. I was like, how the hell did they make it all the way down to like I think it was like the 25? I was like, what the hell just happened? It blew my mind away.
Yeah. I mean, we were literally talking about Lamar in the last episode towards the end after the interview, and I was like, I don't know what it is. He just when it.
It wasn't him though. He did
I
everything he
mean, I
could.
I,
Like
I get it. It's not him, but it is him in the same sense where it's like, yes, he wasn't on the field, so it wasn't him, but it's like it is him because it's just Baltimore. You know what I mean? Like you still you caught the L.
I guess, but it's that one you have to give up to the defense. There's just no way there's just no way you would do something like that to get this ball rolling. So I blame the defense. I don't blame it on Lamar. But you know they're still gonna make the playoffs. They're still gonna be
Yeah, for sure.
successful. But
Yeah, they always gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna win 10 games plus for sure. But you know, I mean, at this point, we're expecting a little more from Lamar. Don't you know? But the 10 games plus season is, you know, that's old. You know, we need you to go to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I will say they're on the hot seat. Like this is Lamar's like make it or break it season. But I feel like there's a lot of the issue with football than it is like with basketball. It's like one player on a basketball team can change the entire outcome of a whole uh playoffs or like whole season. But football, it's like you could be the greatest. You could be You could be Michael Jordan of the NFL and still never win a Super Bowl. And like you could reach almost close to the mountaintop and still like not win it all. Like you could do everything perfect. You could go 25 for 25, 450 yards, you know, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, like rush for 2 touchdowns and still lose a game. And then everyone's looking at you like you're a choke artist. And it's like the game's hard. Like that's why, to me, like I get people sit here and say baseball and soccer and stuff like that, but that's what makes football such an amazing sport is because it really takes 11 people on one side of the field, the teamwork and dedication that it takes for you to be successful and to win. Like, and it's not always a smooth transition or like easy. Like even when in my leagues when I played, uh, we'd be fighting we would be like arguing with each other, cussing each other out, fighting like we hated each other, and then when like next series would go in, dominate, and then we'd be acting like we're back to normal, like nothing happened, like you know. So it's like you go through a lot of emotions and tribulations when it comes to football. I know like every sport has that kind of aspect to it, but football is like the ultimate team sport in my personal opinion. Like think about it. There's so many great I know you could kind of say that with basketball with like Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, um, you can name a few, Steve Nash. Like there's quite a few players that have never won a championship, but then you got to think about like Dan Marino. Like Dan Marino before Aaron Rodgers was like the best thrower of football of all time. Like everybody was like a huge Dan Marino fan. Couldn't even get it. Like, and then you got like some people like not to throw shade, but Trent Dilford on a 2000 Baltimore Ravens team won the Super Bowl. It's like
Yeah.
how, you can't
I
compare
mean,
those.
I feel like the NBA has that too, where you get like the really good players. You're like they won championships. Then you get the others. Like I think a player like Robert Horry. He's got some of the more. He's got some of the most championships in the NBA. But I don't think anybody's like putting Robert Horry up here. I think it just a mad. It's all about timing. One is like you got to as a player later in your career. I feel like you gotta position yourself to you know have the best chance to win. I think it's definitely a lot harder in the NFL. I'm not saying it's easier to win in the NBA, but you definitely got to position yourself. Like you got to open free agency. You want to try to get on the best team that you can that's going to win or have a chance to win a title. I think a lot of people chase money in the beginning in the early stages, and then when their primes is over, they're trying to get that ring, and there's not a lot of options for them because they're gonna have to take vet minimums and the money in the NFL is definitely not guaranteed. So
Yeah, but you got to think about it, like Charles Barkley ran into MJ, like so many good, like Carl Malone, John Stockton, they ran into Jordan. Gary Payton and Sean Kemp ran into Michael Jordan, and then it's like you got Allen Iverson that ran into Shaq and Kobe, and then you had for what was it 9 straight years you had every team in the East that had Derrick Rose, Paul George, like that all ran into that's like caliber all-star player that it's kind of hard, like you know
yeah, I'm definitely. It's not easy. It's not. But it's just one of those things where it's just kind of like where the cards may fall type deal.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I like Lamar as a player. I think he's good. As a rival team, Baltimore, I don't want to see them win, but
But you
taking that
drafted Joe Burrow, like come on now.
taking that out. But Joe, I mean, it's Joe Burrow.
So let me ask you this question, because you used to ride Aaron Rodgers like he was the greatest quarterback of all time.
He,
Is Joe Burrow the new Aaron Rodgers to you? Like, not saying stature wise, but like, you know,
he
greatness
is my
wise.
favorite. Yes, he is my favorite playing quarterback right now, for sure. I
So
just
you
think I like the tenacity he plays with. I just think he's a really good thrower of the football. He puts it right there on the money. I just think his team lets him get hit too much. I think Joe Burrow potential. This is just potential. Not saying he will be this good, but as a thrower of the football, if he had the protection that Brady had, I think he could be as good as Tom Brady. I think he is that talented as a player. But I just Baltimore, Cincinnati does not. I don't know what it is. They don't get an offensive line that can protect him. He ends up getting 50, 60 sacks every single season. He's not going to have the longevity to play, you know, that time period. So, but why he is who he is, yeah, that's my guy. I like him. I wish the Steelers would have drafted him, but we were in the Big Ben era still.
is it because he is it mainly because of his fashion and his like his coolness, or is it just because overall like he
I
has
think it's
every
the overall package. He's a
uh,
cool, he's got like the aura. He's pretty cool off the court. That's why I call him Swaggy B. That's my guy. But also he backs it up on the field, and I feel like that total package, makes you a really marketable player. I like him. I think he's a good player.
all right, well, I'm a little sad that demoted your boy Baker Mayfield down the notch just a little bit.
Yeah, I got the jersey in the back.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have
He
to
didn't
put
have a
that
bad season last year. He was all right.
to rest for a little, uh,
Yeah,
a memoir of Baker's Mayfield's jersey that you have, and put it to rest.
yeah.
I will say
Browns.
though, the all white Cincinnati Bengals jersey, clean, especially the Joe Burrow one. Probably his and Jamar Chase, clean as two. Like, I get it. Everyone seen the Justin Jefferson's like snow white ones. They're the Vikings all white one, but the Bengals one is clean. Like, I would buy an all white Joe Burrow
It's clean. It
jersey.
was
That one
tough.
is clean.
It was tough. It was super tough. Yeah, but it was a good week. Then the latter half of the week of this week, I was out there hooping on the streets of my own court. Yeah, came out of retirement, but it's crazy. I felt old because like waiting to go live, right? And I just get this terrible cramp in my leg, and I'm like literally on the bed, like, oh goodness, just awful, awful cramp. And so I'm like, dang, I'm getting old. But I was
Did
out
you
there hooping.
stretch?
No,
You gotta
man,
stretch,
yeah,
old man.
gotta stretch. Yeah, gotta stretch. My wife tells me that all the time. She's like, stretch. That's why you're always cramping. Yeah, I definitely gotta stretch. They want
It's
to play again on Sunday. I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Is there
We
a group?
won. We won undefeated today. So
Is there a group of y'all?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they was like, "Oh yeah, we'll take Unc over there."
Yeah.
Oh, you got the knee
Right.
pads, the high ankle
Yeah, I had the
wraps and
high
everything.
ankle socks. I had the Converses on. Yeah. No, it was a group of I don't know. There's just be guys out there playing pickleball. I mean, you've been to my apartment complex, but they'd be playing pickleball out there. And one of the dudes out there, his daughter, be at the bus stop with my daughter. So we'd be at the bus stop, and so he was like, "Yeah, you hoop?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit." And he was like, "Oh, no, we run games on Friday at 4:30." I was like, "All right." So today was the first time I went out there. We
Uh-uh.
did it. We played 21, then we did a 2v2. We went undefeated.
I'm glad to hear that, because when I came and visit, I had to put you back into retirement because you was talking reckless, and I had to do you dirty, and then I
Yeah.
felt bad because I was like, I felt like the Lord had sent me to New York just to humble you because you was on this high rise, and I
Man.
had a blessed. I was like Jordan. I was like going right. I was like, nah, I'll go left, and then switching left. I was shimmying. I felt like 2000. Was it 2010, 2012 LeBron? Like when I went to the hole and I was just like, oh foul, oh and one, oh I got it, oh and one.
Mm.
It was just my long. I was like Russ in the deep ball. I couldn't hit my deep balls, but it didn't matter because once I got on fire, I was like Ray Allen against the Spurs in the finals. I was like, shoot,
Mm.
shoot, like oof.
I see. Yes, those games did bring back some emotions. So I had to get out there, had to get the jumper right.
I was,
And then
I was trying to tell you, man.
I had to come out. Then someone saw me shooting. They was like, "You hoop?" I was like, I might do a little something." I was out there, getting some buckets here and there. But I ain't even gonna lie. The dude on my team, his name was Mark. He was hooping for real, looking like young LeBron out there. I was just dishing him dimes. You
Oh,
know?
so what you telling me is Mark was out there carrying you.
No, no, no. I was hitting some shots. I was driving to the hole hitting some shots. But what I'm telling you is my defense was on one too. I had at least 5 steals. I was out there wreaking havoc,
Watch the
looking
pick.
like
Watch the pick. Watch the
yeah.
pick.
I was looking like Jason. I was Jason Kidd. That's what I was. I was like a young Jason Kidd. I was
Mm.
just out there getting buckets.
I thought you was gonna say the glove. I thought you was gonna say, "Oh, I'm Gary Payton out here."
Now I wasn't locking them down like that.
Uh,
I was just wreaking havoc. So I was more like a young Jason Kidd.
that's not too
Fac-
bad though.
facilitating. Yeah, it was hooping though. It was fun. It
Yeah,
was fun.
I was surprised when I went out there and we hooped just for the simple fact that I don't know if it was just because Texas is different and it was it's so hot out here. But when I was out there, I was like, "Ooh, I ain't been on a court in like 16 months." I was like, "I don't know if I," and I was like, I wasn't that really. I was like, don't get me wrong, I was winded, but I wasn't as crazy winded as I thought I was gonna be. So
I think when playing, it's not like it's just a soreness, man. You just be super sore. With any sport. It's like you're moving left and right. You're doing explosive moves, and if you ain't done those in weeks, months, years, man, you just be sore the next day. Like you just did a full body set.
yeah, but ain't nothing better for cardio than basketball, in my personal opinion. Like,
Yeah,
especially
I
half
agree.
court, even full, like, especially full court. Full court, I'd be like, I be the old man now. I be cherry picking like a mother dog. I'm like, oh, you got it. Like, when I was young and gunning, I used to be like, they'd be like fast break. I'd be like running, trying to be like LeBron against the Warriors. Like, got it on the backboard and then grab it, rebound, full speed back on the other side. Dish it out, pass it up, dunk
Can't
it.
do that.
I
Can't do
can't do
all
it no
that.
more. I'd
Yeah.
be like, shit, you got it, bro. You got it. Like, it's your world, squirrel. It's your world. I'm just
Yeah. There was a guy out there doing that. Man, there was like one possession. This man was hustling. Like when he missed the shot, got his own rebound, threw it back up, missed another shot, tried to run over, got another rebound, took it back out, did some like dribble in and out moves, came back to the rim, missed this shot, got his own rebound, went out of bounds, took it back inside it, tried to shoot a three, missed it, like got his own. I was like, for just to get 2 points, 1 point, he ended up scoring off of it. I was like, I know you got to be tired after that. He was like, yeah.
yeah.
So
I'm just glad that I'm old. Like I'm getting there. I'm getting seasoned, but I ain't to that point where I'm like, hey man, don't like you holding on to the young gun. Like don't move, don't you move. Like don't move. You just sit there and chill. Be still. Like or like you leaning on the dude like the whole time. Like like I ain't
Just
quite there
all low
yet.
block. You don't go.
Yeah,
You don't leave that high low block. It's there
yeah.
all day.
But I be trying to, every once in a while I'll get on the court. But then it makes, like you said, the next day you be like, oh, I shouldn't done that. Oh, I shouldn't done that.
I
It's
shouldn't
like
have did
leg
that
day.
dribble
Like
drive in
basketball is
and out.
always a leg day. Like you always feel like the day of you feel good, like oh I'm good, and then like the next 2 days you be like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna be saying that tomorrow. I can already feel the leg cramp was enough. I already know tomorrow's probably gonna be
Yeah, we
bad.
know you don't be drinking enough water either. You
Yeah,
need
as you see me, I
electrolytes.
got my glass of it of
Yeah,
water right here.
you need some liquid IV in you, dog.
We ain't sponsored by them anymore, dog.
Oh, okay, my
Can't
bad,
bring
my
them
bad.
back up. You know,
But
gotta be.
we got a good episode today. We got a new guest, a jack of all trades, a master of both craft and creativity. He's a skilled barber with a passion for precision, a dedicated father and husband who leads with purpose, and driven entrepreneur who runs his own successful business. But that's just the beginning. He's also a podcast director. He's also a photographer. He's also been behind the scenes. He's been, Spike Lee in it in some, films and documentaries and stuff like that. He's bringing powerful stories to life through multiple lenses, whether he's behind the chair, the mic, or the camera. He's consistently building, creating, and inspiring multiple people. So please welcome to the show, my man, my boy, Justin, aka Bunky the Surgeon. Hold on. There we go. There we go.
What's
There you
good?
go.
What's good? Yo, this shit is crazy, man.
You good, man? You
They
good?
got me sideways. Hold on, man. Should I flip it for y'all? Or...
Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah, you're upside down there.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what just happened. Let me see if he just gave me a beautiful intro, and I hate to start it off like this.
It's all
That was
good.
wonderful.
Technical difficulties.
Hey, man,
All
like
right,
I said,
so that's straight for y'all, right? I'm guessing.
yeah, way
Yeah,
better.
All right, let me get that set up then. I'm over here fucking up, guys. I apologize. Yeah, yeah, y'all
Technical
should have seen. All right,
difficulty.
so let me give a quick little reason why I'm late today for the first. Damn, man. All right, bro. Gotcha. Let's make it easy for myself.
Yeah, don't make it difficult.
Yeah, bro. Yo, I had everything set up, yo. You should have seen the camera, everything, yo. But I figured, all right, y'all can see me. I'm good.
Much
yeah,
better. Yep.
All right, perfect. Hear me? Audio okay?
yeah.
Everything good. Good.
Yeah, so first of all, man, I appreciate y'all having me on the show today. You know what I'm saying? My boy Malcolm, longtime client, man, longtime friend, I consider him. You feel me? Uh, but quick story, I'm over here setting up. I had everything ready, and then I hit the damn power cord. Everything just went crazy, and yeah, so
It's all good.
apologize for that.
Well, good thing about us, and especially AB could talk someone's ear off. So,
Yeah.
he had a good time to catch up on his experience over at the Jets and Steelers game this weekend. So we good.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, that was a good one too. That was a good one.
It was. I was excited. It was my first NFL game, so
Oh shit. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They get crazy, man. I love the environment.
Yeah, but
yeah.
he ain't rocking. His team ain't rocking like your boys over there. He ain't fly Eagles fly.
You know, hey, lucky I ain't got. I was gonna put the Eagles gear on and shit, but I'm like, man, let me get a professional look and shit. But
Yeah. So first things first, we always do this with all our guests. When did you decide to, or when did you join the 2635 club?
man, I want to say ever since a kid, man. I always did things differently, man. I always kind of stepped outside the box. As you kind of mentioned earlier, I do multiple things, right? But really, really, as a kid, I would like to, I guess you would say, people please and make people happy and things like that. So I found a way to kind of like, man, let me step out the box and kind of, I'm sorry.
Oh, hey,
No, no.
Take your time. Take your time.
So yeah, so as a kid, man, I've like found joy in making people laugh, right? And I think that's where it started. So I'm getting to like the root. I don't know if you guys want me to get super deep on this, but
hey,
uh
we on your time, man. Hey, we trying to let everybody know how the 2635 Club implements. So it's not just like, it's not a straight line. Like, so you start wherever your journey started with the 2635 Club, G.
yeah. So like I said, man, I like to make people laugh, man. And I kind of found that to be what drove me to, I guess, creativeness, right? Whether it be jokes or, drawing or things like that. And then within getting creative, doing things like, it gets, and, starting to graffiti and doing things like that. I would say that's when I started my path on like, kind of stepping outside the norm. And ever since then, I mean, it's been good things that came from it, also been bad things, because I'm always kind of rebelling against, the norm, what you would call. Um, but yeah, man, I would say high school, you could kind of consider that where everybody kind of finds their like, all right, what are we gonna do here now? What's my life gonna look like, so to speak? And I chose, I guess, going the barber route because I felt like I would be able to do things like, all right, so barbering kind of gave me the space and the availability to pursue different things. So I mean that's kind of like I wanted to summarize it, you know what I'm saying, and kind of hit main points, but yeah,
So
man.
would you say like barbering was like your call, or is that just like your path that you felt like that was your journey at the time? Like, I don't want to say your timeline. I try to bring it. I always bring up the metaverse just because that's the easiest. Everybody can relate to it because everybody was in love with Avengers Endgame and all that. So, do you think that was that ripple in your timeline, or was that your path, like your destiny, quote unquote, or was that just
um
a calling at the time that you was like, yo, this is me?
I would say a little bit of both, man. It was my calling, right? Like I said, I like to, entertain people, make people happy and things like that. So it was part of, me already. And then it also led me to being able to do other things. So I guess you could say a little mixture of both, bro.
Okay.
So, okay. So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So you got into barbering, and barbering is kind of like, I would say it's it could be considered oversaturated market. So
Yo,
there's a lot of barbers, that, I mean, just here in New York, literally you go 5 minutes down the road, barbershop, 5 minutes down the road, barbershop, 5 minutes down the barbershop. What do you feel like makes you and your business model, stand out versus, uh, you know, the 1,000, 10,000 other barbers, in Houston?
Oh man, that's easy, man. Number one thing is just listen to your clients. People gonna tell you what they want. They're gonna express it to you. It's up to you to give it to them in the best way that you can. And obviously, give them some entertainment too. Talk to them. That's a huge thing. Make sure you talk to your clients. Make sure you're keeping that relationship. And I would say that right there, those two things alone. Obviously, cleanliness, that's gonna be on top of the list as well too. Let me add that in there.
Yeah, I've been to some dirty barber shops. So
I already know.
Yeah.
I already know, man.
So we mentioned it on numerous platforms and podcasts, the power of a cut.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel what we always feel like our definition of the power of the cut is like it's your the man's version of therapy. It's the man's version of like a phoenix fire. Like you go in, you rough, you rough around the edges, you going through a lot, you sit down in the chair, your barber reforms you back to, your perfect image, or they kind of the marvel statue type ordeal. So what how do you feel, or what's your version of power of a cut, if I will say, or your definition of power of a cut?
Mm. Power of a cut, man, is really, I would say, making somebody, because, and I'm gonna go straight with the beard, right? Once a beard kind of grows out a few days or so, like you look rough, right? If you just edge the beard or whatever and just leave it the same length, it looks, you look completely clean, right? So just using that example right there, I feel like you could take somebody from looking real, I wouldn't say a bummy, right? But essentially bummy, and lifting their spirits through them looking clean and them feeling clean, right? And kind of, that's what I would say about that. That would be the effect.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's always going to be, those those times where you, like you said, you had someone come in looking super bummy. You transformed them into, the perfect the perfect person, or the
Yep.
perfect version of themselves at that time. Has
Yep.
there ever been a person where you tried everything you could, and you was like, oh boy, when like, hey man, I did everything I could, but God gave me ability, but he didn't make me be able to turn water into wine type joint.
Damn, yeah, that's I would say, man, and not, this wouldn't be anybody who like has normal hair, right? It would always be like somebody who might have some issues, maybe some patches, maybe some scarring. I had dudes who had like, huge scars in their heads, where it's like, man, they got a patch here and a patch here, and they're like slicking back the hair, and it's like, we could do what we can, but at that point, you can't do much. There was one dude, I'm not gonna lie, he had to be like 70, 80 years old, man. This is like when I first started cutting, and he had like a crater in his head, bro. Like his head indented in a good, like, I want to say inch and a half, like the whole side of his head kind of thing. So
Mm.
that's probably like one of the craziest, you know what I'm saying, heads that I ever had to cut. But yeah, man, stuff like that is stuff that you just can't, no matter what, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question. So, for anybody out there watching this episode, now or and later on, what would you, for someone who's maybe considering transitioning to barbering, what advice would you give them to start that? I think there's a lot of, I think the most common pathways, like cutting under the table, cutting your cousins and your friends, and then
Yep.
eventually, getting your license, going to barber school or whatever. But is there something that may be better, you feel like is a better option, alternative?
Um, honestly, straight to school, right? This is the path that I took. I didn't necessarily cut a lot of heads before I went into school, and I felt like that was the best way to go about it because I'm learning from the beginning, right? So when you start cutting on the streets, and when you're cutting, let's just say, in your garage or whatever, and you're doing your family members, you start to develop certain habits, right? And you start to do things a certain way that, may not be sanitary, may not be okay. So I say learn learn the right way first. Spend some money, go to school, but it'll be worth it because now you're bringing professionalism wherever you go because you have the knowledge of, all the things that you need to know: hair, the head shapes, all different types of things. So I feel like if you really want to go about it the right way, go to school first and then come out, work for a franchise barbershop. That way you could get like a, high volume of people coming in, And then from there, maybe go to a booth rent or your own suite. And if you're ready, open up a shop. If that's what you want to do.
Okay.
So that
Um,
would be the route.
yeah, absolutely. I was gonna also follow up with so Malcolm had listed a whole bunch of myriad of things you do there, and
Yeah.
so my question is like, how did you get into photography and the videography space? That's a huge lateral from being a barber. So
Yeah.
what made
And
you want to get into that stuff?
honestly, man, it's not too far off. I mean, if you look at, social media space now, barbers are doing all types of crazy videos, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
like they're acting out, whether they're, funny videos, whatever kind of. So honestly, I felt like barbering, I could go really way back. I used to edit videos, on my first computer ever, and it would be like slideshows and pictures and things like that. I found it fun. Didn't do anything with cameras or anything ever since. And I'll actually tell a quick story too here. I bought a camera. So I had a client who was going to school. He's a young high school kid. Shout out to Marco. He he's going to film school and he loves film. He's doing all this stuff. So my lady had a camera at the time and I just gave it to him, right? I said, here, just take that, right? It was kind of an expensive camera. She got upset. She's like, hey, you owe me a camera, right? So I was like, you know what? I got you. Don't worry. Do some research, find your camera. She found her camera. We end up going to buy it. I spent, the decent amount of money on it. And then the camera started sitting around for a few weeks, right? And I'm thinking like, man, I just spent some money on this thing, right? So we got to put this thing to use. So I started using it, and then that's kind of what took it off. And then out of nowhere, one day she said, "Hey, you want to go to school for it?" And then it just kind of evolved from there. But I felt like it was always in me, and I felt like I always had to use it based on my barbering career and stuff like that. So
So did you picking up the camera and starting that entry level of regular just photography, little small clips here and there, uh, help increase your business because of that, or was it just like that was the passion at the time, and then you were just like it's like you know uh 5-year-old 4-year-old Malcolm picking up a football for the first time, and it's like, oh, this is it type moment.
I don't think it was one of those moments like this is it. It kind of grew on me, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. So, what was the first question you asked though? How did you ask me? I'm sorry,
um
because it was like a two-part question. You said, was
Basically,
it
like,
always in me? Like, was it always in? Oh, did it help my business? That's what
yeah,
you
did
asked.
it help your business?
Did it help my business? So essentially, I felt like I could have did better using my video skills to promote my business. I did a little bit. I don't think it. I mean, it's definitely helping, right? You could tell the quality of my videos are way better now. But I'm not utilizing it enough to where it should be doing this thing. But I'm not trying to at the moment seek new clients. So that's kind of where I'm at with it too.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think kind of caveat on that. I think one of the thing with video creation, content creation is that people don't really understand is the amount of work and consistency it takes. It is a huge undertaking to constantly film yourself, edit, post the videos, and then like the return on investment sometimes is it's either maxed out, like you're huge and you're making all this extra money from it, or
Yeah,
it's nothing. And
yeah,
so people
yeah,
see the Instagram models, or the Instagram content creators or TikTok creators that are pulling up in these Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all these other cars, but they don't really understand how much work it is to make it to that point. So
yeah,
um but I feel like videography is kind of like the future now. I feel like it's kind of like created its own space. I mean, we have whole platforms just based on video, YouTube,
Yeah.
live streaming and stuff like that. So it's definitely like for a business person, it's a huge part. It can be a very effective, or it can be detrimental because if your quality's horrible, somebody may see your video and be like, I ain't going to this bro. This video is terrible. But
Yeah, yeah.
if it's great, then yeah,
Yep, yep. And like you said, it's one of those things that you need, but it's not something that like instantly rewards you, you know? So it's kind
yeah,
of like, man, you have to have it, but then, it's not always gonna just pay you right back then and there, you know?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, especially on our first project. It was like I was doing all the editing and stuff like that, and it was like, like learning it is a good tool to have because when you're in a pinch and you need some, you gotta buckle down and you like, hey, we need, 5-6 clips here, like quick, and you're like, all right, I got you, like, and I could whip them out in like an hour,
Yeah.
just because I spent so much time, like I was dedicated to that portion of it, and that
Yeah.
part of it, like I kind of, I can chill, I can sit here on the computer, put my headphones on, block out the whole world, and just sit there and focus on, trying to make a perfect clip as much as possible. But it does get taxing because it'd be like, yo, like my eyes is burning, or like I've
Yeah.
been watching this clip for like 45 minutes trying to edit it down to it being perfect, and it's like I feel like it's not perfect, and then like I would show him, he'd be like, "Oh, that's hella good, bro." I'm like, "It
Yeah.
ain't good, man. Like it ain't good." Like there's always like it's like almost like being a chef. Like it's like when you cook for someone and they be like, "Oh, that's really good," and it's like especially me because
yeah,
I'll pull a recipe off of like Instagram or something, and I'm like, "Let me try that," and then it's like I'll have my own vision. Like I'll do the recipe, but I'll have my own touch to it or whatever, and I'd be like in my mind, in my mind, I already have the taste and everything to it. And then it's
Yeah.
like I'll make it, and I'm like, it ain't as good as I thought it
How
was
it's
gonna
supposed to
be.
be.
And then everybody be like, no, that's really good. I'm like, nah, the next time it's gonna be better though. Like I know what I know the missing ingredient. Like I ain't gonna tell you, but I know what I'm missing type stuff. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Heck yeah, man.
yeah.
Now
but
It's always a grind, definitely for perfection.
yeah.
You try to achieve perfection for your own product, but you don't really know what the outcome of that hard work is. So I think for some people it can be I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use to describe it. Um
I
well,
mean,
like
yeah,
no
I think I know what
tedious.
you're saying.
uh yeah, I can't
Daunting.
yeah, daunting. Yeah, I don't know why I was
Daunting.
having a mental block right there.
It's because
So
you
yeah, no,
tired from
I was trying to
basketball. That's
figure
what
it
that
Yeah, I
is.
am actually very tired.
It's past your bedtime.
It is. It is. It's
You know,
always past my
yeah,
bedtime. I'm
you
here.
just instantly fall asleep. You just be like out
Hey,
on a speaker
hey,
and everything.
y'all lucky.
Hey, so let me ask you a question, AB man. So how are
Sure.
you enjoying New York, man?
I like it, man. There's unlimited things to do.
Yeah.
Demoralizing, Kenny. Thank you. That was demoralizing. That was the word I was looking for. Um, I like it. There's a lot of things to do. There's unlimited things to do.
For sure.
Um, we were talking last week, and I said about we were talking about the hustle culture and stuff. Like it's a very grind hard city.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so everywhere you go, someone's selling something, trying to get service, whatever. It is what it is. It's a city, but
No, for sure.
the
I
the
don't
ex-
know if I don't know if Malcolm told you. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm from New Jersey, so
oh, okay.
I spent
What
hella
part?
time in New York. So it's a small town called Perth Amboy,
Okay,
and we're right over the water from Staten Island. So I'm about 30 minutes from the city, give or take.
okay.
It's
Is that like
about
Jersey City?
no, so Jersey City, that's right across the water from you guys. I'm a
Hmm.
little bit down further, probably like 15-20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So it's like it's nice. It's cool to just hop in your car or walk a block and
no, you could do, yeah, I
yeah,
already know.
yeah,
That's why I'm asking. So I'm like, man,
yeah.
how are you enjoying it?
It's cool, but the prices, man. That's the only thing. It's like,
Yeah.
excuse me. I first moved out here and I had severe sticker shock. Like my wife was like, "You're not gonna keep complaining about all the prices all the time," but it was like I was just shocked how expensive some of the stuff could be. Like things that were $2 or $3, back in Florida was where I was at,
Oh yeah.
and are like $5, $6, $10 sometimes. I'm just like who can afford this? But people, it's not a town for the faint of heart. It's not a city for the
Oh,
faint of heart. If you don't
yeah.
have a grind, mentality in you,
Yes.
don't even come here. You ain't gonna make it.
Yep, yep. And that's kind of what we're here for right now, is what we talking about, right? Is
Yeah,
kind of having that mentality, or that I guess that perseverance, man, to keep going, man.
yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
speaking of that, has there ever been a? I'm sure there's plenty, but has there been one that's embedded into your brain where it was like you hit a wall and it was like you had to do everything you could to get over this hump, this wall, to be successful, or to persevere through the challenge itself to become the person that you are today?
Mm. Yeah. I honestly, when I came to Texas, when I made that switch from New Jersey to Texas, it was tough, man. I came down here with a little bit of money in my pocket. I when I came here, my license didn't want to transfer over. They had all these things. I had to go back to school because the hours were different in New Jersey than in Texas. So I had to deal with the whole, like,
The
you know,
bureaucracy of it.
yeah. And at the time, I got a 1-year-old daughter. I, I'm sorry, she might have been like 2 at the time. Yeah, about two or three at the time. And man, I was just like at my mom's house, with a kid. School, I have to go back to school now. It was really rough for me in the beginning, but I definitely went to school, showed up every day, got my stuff, passed everything, man, and here I am today. You've seen my growth over the years.
Yeah, all of them, all three of them. It was
Yeah.
crazy because it was like when I had when we found out about Mars, I think like a couple of months later is when you and your wife was like, "Yeah, we having a girl too." I was like, "Oh no, snap!" And then it was like right when I was finding out about Mercy is when you
Yeah.
were like, "Yeah, we having a girl too," and
Yeah.
it was like, I think I think because I think Mercy's birthday is around your birthday, right? And I think
Yeah.
his daughter's like I think like a day or two, but either behind or before my birthday. So it's like the same. Like every single time we hit that milestone, it was like we was right there. It was like, yo, it was crazy. It's like, so
Yeah.
when I'm coming to the shop and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, man, pregnancy ain't no joke, man. Like, and we're like,
Yeah.
she yelling at me for this, and this. He's like, I got the same thing, bro. I was like, oh,
we,
cool.
we going
That
through it.
therapy session, you sitting there like, all right, I ain't the only one. I ain't the only one going through it right now.
Yeah, what did Caleb call the bar? Three space? Is that what
Yeah,
it
the
was
three
called?
space.
The,
I don't know if
the,
you,
the third phase, yeah,
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 third
third
space.
space. That's the term.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, third space came in handy for it was basically
yeah.
a pre-parenting,
Yeah, pretty much.
pre-fatherhood course there.
Man. Yeah, and if you guys could see like what I see, right? Like throughout the years, I deal with many people, for years or short amount of times, and you could just see like the growth of people. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, and all the conversations, right? Like he's not the only guy I talk to about these things. Like, another dude comes in, he got a different problem, or, a job problem, whatever, right? And I get to see, and, all these situations, man, and kind of evaluate, everybody lets their stuff out. Honestly, it's really draining on me some days, but helping people out, man, that's kind of what I always been about. So
Yeah, acts of service, acts of service.
yeah, man.
So, uh, so you went from being a barber to doing videos to actually going to film school. What what transitioned you into like, all right, this is what I want to go to school for. This is what I'm passionate about. I want to make money doing this.
Yeah, yeah. So honestly, the love was there. I'm on my second child at this point from my lady Michelle, and I'm like, I'm trying to get something going, and I know that I like it, but I'm really looking at it like, man, there's no hope in this because I need some money to put in. I just I didn't I wasn't in the right mind. So my lady actually comes up to me, and I'm sorry, she was pregnant with JJ, my second baby, and she tells me like, "Hey, do you want to go to school for this?" And I said, like, you know what that means, right? Like, I gotta be here all the time. Like, you know the commitment, right? She said, it's cool. We went to go look at the school. The man, they told me they could sign me up, and it was just, it kind of took off straight from there. I didn't expect it to actually get to that point. I wasn't seeing that. She actually kind of saw that for me. So
So she
So
gave you the
the
vision. She
she
gave you
gave me
the.
the vision. She gave me the vision.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
gonna
what's up.
lie. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, so what does film school look like? I've never met anyone that's gone through that
Yeah.
type of program.
Yeah, so I went to a school that's not connected to a university. It's kind of like a standalone school. They have like multiple locations, one in Dallas, right? So they're kind of big. Um, and when you get there, I had no clue either, right? I'm sitting here like, are we just gonna sit here watch movies all day? Like, I'm supposed to evaluate. Yeah, I'm just, I don't know what we're gonna learn. So what they put us through was obviously editing, right? They taught us the whole editing suite through Adobe. Um, we watch certain films, right, to know like history, how to shoot and everything, right? So they gave us the education behind what goes into actually shooting, movies and TV. And that's kind of what started my love for that, right? I always looked at video and my camera as if like, hey, I'm gonna do social media stuff. I'm gonna do whatever it is. I'm pretty much going to the school you know, for selfish reasons, right? I'm going to use the camera for myself and things like that. But within learning what they taught me and what goes into doing all that stuff, that actually incited me to like, hey, I need to go, work on a set. I kind of like this, I want to shoot a movie. So essentially, they teach you audio, the right audio stuff, video, trying to think of what else. If you want to do like events, how you go around, you set up all the audio and the lighting, and forget what it's called at the moment, but I didn't want to go that route. So I really want to stick to TV and film. So if I could get that, man, then I'll be golden.
So since you graduated, have you shot any movies or TV shows that
So I shot a pilot TV show. It's on YouTube right now. If you guys want to go check it out, it's called MYOB Houston. And I was actually on set. I wasn't the camera guy. They had a professional camera guy. They call him a director of photography, and they had a whole set of people. I actually started off as a PA. So that's kind of like the bottom of the totem pole. They call them, production assistant. They're pretty much, hey, do this, do that, and kind of send you everywhere. Then I worked my way up to being a gaffer, which is somebody who, works on the lights and the stands and everything like that. I'm sorry. And then the guy asked me to, if I wanted to edit the show. And I'm like, you want me to edit the show? And then I'm like, hey, I'll take it, right? Because I'm just accepting anything. So I ended up editing the show and having multiple positions on the set. So it was actually really cool. That was my first experience. And hopefully I get some more, man. That's what I'm shooting for.
Absolutely, absolutely.
oh wow, that's really cool actually. I can't
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being like you know, I'm sure like that opportunity will lead to many others because the film industry, the movie industry is pretty small. So this
Yeah.
guy knows that guy knows this guy. Next thing you know, you're filming a Marvel movie or you know, a, s- a Spike Lee joint or something.
I
Yeah,
would be at the movie theater, and be like, I know that dude, I know that man,
yeah.
nah, I know that name. Oh, that's my boy, that's my boy. You don't know that man. I know him,
Yeah,
man. That's my Marvel.
Yeah.
so
So
honestly, where the industry is at right now, and I'll speak on it for a second, is uh it's not necessarily Hollywood. It's not necessarily, go to Atlanta and work at Tyler Perry's. A lot of, smaller creators are doing stuff for YouTube or creating little short films, entering them into, film festivals and things like that. And then those get picked up, and then those kind of
turn it into
snowball.
movies. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that Jonathan Majors movie was a film festival, like the
Yeah.
Sundance.
Yeah.
That's like a
Yep.
big
Yep.
one. Yeah, that was
Yep.
like an indie. That was a really good movie, actually. And
Yeah.
so I definitely know the how the industry works there. So man, that's awesome though.
Yeah, man.
Um, one question we always ask here on the show is if you could change into any career right now, no, nothing holding you back, you nothing, you could do whatever you wanted. There's no restrictions. What would that be?
Honestly, man, and this is gonna sound pretty cheesy, bro. NFL, bro. I would play in the NFL.
Okay,
God,
that's the first sports one we've gotten actually. We've asked this question what 5 times now, 4 times now.
Yeah.
That was
What
first.
what do people usually say?
It's usually it's a variety. We had last week was someone wanted to go. Kenny wanted to go into movies. He wanted to
Yeah.
actually be an actor.
you wanted to be an actor or a producer? I
Yeah,
think it was
Hey, I
and
could
then
probably help them out, man.
yeah, and then we had
see
an interior
networking.
designer. So
Yeah.
it just I think a lot of people pick their hobbies,
Yeah.
like the things they do on the
They
side.
do
They're not
that
making money, but yeah, they
for
would
sure.
would do it full time. But
So NFL, right? What position though?
QB, man. Straight up QB.
You trying to be out here like his boy Joe Burrow?
Nah, but you got to think about it, man. I'm considering my height. I'm considering my size. You know what I'm saying? There's not many positions I could play, and then I'm not fast, right? So I'm kind of on the smaller end if you consider me to an NFL player.
You could be a
I'm not
safety,
that fast. So safety, I could definitely do that. I play safety too as well, but I got a nice little arm, man. I think I could work on it. You know.
little Brian Dawkins out there. You know
yeah,
what?
I would if I was going to go to NFL, I'd play a position as I'm not going to get hit much. So
Yeah.
quarterback, I feel like it's a good one because I'd be
Just
You be a
scrambling
kicker,
to the
bro.
out of bounds.
throw it out of bounds. That's
Yeah,
it.
Book, you probably be like a kicker or a punter.
Yeah.
You be like a
and
Pat McAfee out there,
yeah.
just like yeah, man,
Yeah.
yeah,
Justin
I can't kick
Tucker,
for
yeah.
nothing,
yeah,
so yeah, maybe probably, or I just be special teams. That's it.
yeah.
Just a few blocks and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Few
that's what
blocks.
you think, and then you boom, like oh man,
Then you get what's it called?
CTE.
Blindsided.
Yeah.
You get blindsided, it's over.
Um, one thing we do also ask to all our guests is if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, the younger Bunk,
Gosh.
the younger Justin, and give yourself a piece of knowledge, piece of game, one on one. What would you give yourself on?
Damn. I would tell myself learn as much as you can like outside of school, right? Continuous education, outside of, 2 6. I'm sorry, I'm getting I don't want to
2635.
get the numbers wrong. 2 6 3 3 6 5, right?
2635.
2 6
35.
3-5.
2 6 3 5. Sorry, it's 2 6 3 5. You know what I'm saying? Like learn so that you can be able to do right. So you don't have to take the normal path of having to do the original route. Right? We all know what that is. Just learn, man. Learn. Use YouTube. When YouTube first came out, and then people started adding stuff to their education wise, like just learn. That's what I would say, because I do that now and I've been doing it over the years, but I feel like distractions have happened. There's always something going on, right? You get caught up in the world, but continue to learn, man. It's gonna help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as you get older, it's definitely a lot harder to dedicate that time to learning. And
Exactly.
so when you're
Exactly.
younger and you don't have kids and you're not married, you don't have a girlfriend, that's the best time. And
Exactly.
that stuff pays off, because you
Yeah.
never know what type of income or revenue or job, you can get on the side for it. So
Yeah.
and you know what's
definitely.
crazy though? and I'm sure all three of us had this. You always had some old head that would say that to you too, like, "Hey man, you better be out there doing as much, learning as much as you can, or
Read
doing
a
this and
book.
this." And then
Read
you'd
a
be like,
book.
"Man, I ain't trying to hear all that." And then you'd be
Yeah.
sitting there and be like thinking, like, "Dang, I should have listened to that person." And
Yeah.
then you'd be trying to peep game to speak game to the younger generations, and they'd be the same way you was, and like, look, man, if you just listen, trying to tell you, like, you
I
just
tell you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience. It's like for me, it's like when coaches used to tell you like, "Hey, enjoy playing this game as much as you can because there's gonna be a one day where it's like it's gone and you ain't gonna have it no more." And
Yeah.
that feeling, that experience that you have on this field, you would do anything to get that back. And I'm like, man, you just saying that because you old,
Yeah.
and then you get to that point and you like, dang man, I took this game for granted. I took the game for granted. I should have been practicing more. I should have been doing these drills at 5 o'clock in the morning, or I should have, if I would have just focused a little more on this, man, I could have been out there on the NFL type joint.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
no.
think the reality really sets in when you see people, your direct peers,
Mm-hmm.
doing things that you wanted to do. That's when
Mm.
like life really hits you. You're like,
Yep.
dang,
Yep.
I was playing with him in high school. Now he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I'm here on Friday nights making a podcast. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that's when, the reality really sets in where it's like I didn't take things seriously as I should
Or
have.
you be hearing about those stories about like Embiid never played basketball a day in his life, and then he picks up a basketball for the first time. Then he gets drafted in like 6 months. Like, bro, like, ain't no way in heck that's gonna happen. Like, how does that happen to him, but it can't happen to me? I've been hooping since I was 6, like, type joints. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you be a little petty over there, be like, I don't like Embiid because he got lucky, because
He
he's
ain't do shit to get
7'1",
here.
he just dunked the ball and you think he's hot trash. So it's like, so you
Yeah.
get a little bitterness, a little
Hell
humble
yeah.
pie.
Yeah. Life
Nah,
hits you. Life hits
Yeah,
nah, for sure, man, for sure. So I definitely like what you said, AB. Like the time, man, the time really ain't there. Like you think it's gonna be there. So let them know that too. Let myself know that.
you. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. People take life for granted, It's
Yeah,
unfortunately we all think like we got a lot of time, but you really don't.
you don't,
Life
man.
is quick. One
Yeah,
second you're 15, then you're 45.
well, and then like we were just talking about on the basketball court. One minute you could play back to back to back games and not feel a thing. Don't no stretching, no nothing. To the next, you could play 2 games and be on ice packs for the
yeah.
next 3 days. Like,
Yeah, we played today, and we played one game literally, and I was like, "Y'all want to play again?" Everybody was like, "No."
That's it. You
Everybody
got
went home after that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You got one good game with me too. That's
yeah.
it.
So
So
I definitely,
obviously, before we go, like I mentioned, jack of all trades. You got multiple experience, multiple backgrounds in a lot of different categories. You're a father, you're a husband. How does that implement into how does your journey into those career paths or just life experiences help you as a father, as a husband?
Oh man, honestly, bro, the patience, man, the patience it takes for everything, right? The patience it takes to grow, the patience it takes to do what we do, man, on a daily basis, yo. Deal with the kids, deal with wifey, they could get a little crazy at times. But honestly, patience, man, is the number one thing. And I've learned that through, many careers, not just what I'm doing now. And honestly, that's really the key, bro. Because at times it gets crazy. I got a lot going on, like you said. And on a day to day basis, I'm constantly switching from one thing to another. Right? I'm at work cutting hair, then I run home. I'm editing something, then I gotta go get the kids. It's being patient with everything, and I think that's like the key because it's easy to lose your cool, to lose it all. You know what I'm saying? In the blink of an eye.
True, 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 true.
So,
absolutely.
what
Maybe
about
anything.
you? Can you answer that, man? Because I know you do a lot too, as
For
far
me,
as family life, and I don't know if you got kids, AB.
Yeah,
You got kids as well?
yeah. I got one.
Nice, nice.
So for me, it's just that I mentioned it a few times on the podcast. It's that break. I call them. It's I know if my mom or my parents watch, they probably get a little upset about me saying this, but it's like breaking generational curses. Like
Yeah,
we talked about it every time I'm at the shop. It's just like, I can't fault my parents for not teaching me things that they didn't know.
yeah.
But it's like I personally felt like, and I've said this multiple times in all of our projects. It's like my parents got hold on, let me see. My parents got here, right? They
Yeah.
did it. They grinded. They did what they were instructed. They listened to their parents. They try to do the norms as best as they could, or they had to go through all these obstacles to get to where they are today. And it's like you witness as a kid, not a lot of people see, not a lot of people think that kids don't pay attention. So you kind of see what your parents go through on the day-to-day grind. Sometimes they life hits life, life, or what we call it, life is lifing.
Life is
And
life.
like you struggling, you got to pay these bills, or you don't have enough money to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like you see your parents go through that, and you're like, all right, like, hey, but they make it through some way somehow. So it's like, all right, cool. So you reach past their level. So you like, well, let me camera. They got here, you're up here now, and then
Yep.
it's like you learn all the stuff that they didn't teach you, or what they didn't know, and stuff like that. And you're like, man, if I would have just known a little bit of this, of X, Y, and Z, instead of reaching here, I could have been all the way up here. So it's like that continuous growth and educating, like you said, educating yourself to learning the stuff that you don't know,
Mm,
to implement into your kids. Like now, like like back in school, I was always good at school, like doing papers and debating and stuff like that, and
yeah.
math and stuff. I was always good at school, but it was like I was never well rounded. I was social, but I wasn't always like everybody's. My social networking skills wasn't always on point, because it was just like a popularity type thing. Like a football player, it's like you kind of got like almost a little bit of that Julius Caesar mentality, where you're like, oh, I'm up here. Like I would mingle with some of the nerd kids and stuff like that, but not as much as people as I should. So I was like,
Mm,
now I try to implement with the girls, like, no, y'all, you need to start looking into trying to do this or trying to do that. Like, hey, like it's cool to, want to be a cheerleader, but you might want to run track. You might want to join, the band. You might want to learn an instrument and stuff like that. So it's like
mm,
the path that I've trying to get my girls to do is like I'm trying to learn to elevate them way high, like skyrocket way past what my capabilities is. Like I'm not cutting myself short, but I feel like I can only get so much higher from where I am right now. And it's like
yeah.
coming from where my parents came from, like you would like almost you could say like, oh, you're a success story. Like, your parents,
Yeah.
reached the status, you surpassed them,
Yeah.
you're the you
They did
know
their job, so to
yeah, they
speak.
did their job now, so you got they're passing the
Yeah.
torch, and now it's like, but I don't wanna just pass the torch, I wanna excel. I wanna put some steroids in this rocket and shoot it away past anywhere
Yeah.
I could ever reach, so it's like that.
But so let me kind of before we get out of here, let me kind of ask you guys, since you guys do have kids. How old is your kid, AB?
5.
5. Okay, so yeah, you in that range too. So right now, man, we dealing with a whole different generation of kids, man. I don't know if you guys noticed, the things they do, the things they talk about. So, I mean, do you guys got any tips for, especially, and I feel, let's talk to the social, their social life. My kids, I feel like as they're young, they're pretty social, but as they get older, they get a little more antisocial, right? Are you guys
Mhm.
seeing that as well, or?
Oh, absolutely. Like, like said to when one of our friends, Caleb, came on to the show. I try to make sure like Mars like says hi to everybody, like or like shake their hand, hi, hey, how you doing? I'm Marley, like introducing herself, and like kids is kids, like when they go to a event and they don't know nobody but mom and dad, like they stuck to your butt cheeks, and you can't even go to the bathroom by yourself. Like, as parents, like, you face that all the time. Like, you can't just sit on the toilet for like 5 minutes without fingers coming underneath the door, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
when you go to a family event or a social event, it's like on steroids, like it's on crack. Like, they're all like, nope, nope, no, you can't leave, you can't leave me. Like, I don't care if you're, you know, you're going to go get some water. I'm right there. Like, so it's like you kind of like try to ease them into it. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's rough. Like, I remember when Mars first started cheer, she was kind of like timid, and and like, well, I don't really know these girls. Like, I'm sticking to mom and dad. And even when she was with her coach, it was like, yes, no. And now it's like she's a social butterfly now. Like, now,
Yeah.
like, I'd be sitting at practice, and like I'd be like, where did Mars go? And they're like all the way over here. Then she's running all the way over here. Like, the coach is talking, she thinking she's the assistant coach and trying to coach other people. I'm like, all right, and like, so it's like you gotta put them in those type of situations where
Those
the
environments.
what is it? You gotta teach them to be comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. So it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
growing the way that I grew up, it was like you kind of, because I have an older sister, she's like 7 years older than me. So it's like I grew up a lot quicker than most kids my age, but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like I learned certain things different than, other kids. So it was like I tried to, kind of implement that. Like, you're going to be in some situations where you don't know nobody, especially AB can attest to this, especially like with military. Like, you're constantly on the move. You're going from, station to station, this unit to that unit, deployments to back home and stateside. People get rotated out like quick, fast, and in a hurry. So it's like you gotta meet new people and learn new people quick and fast and in a hurry. So it's like you gotta kind of put your kids in those situations. So when
Yeah.
push comes to shove, they're able to handle themselves.
They're used to it,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
That's
I would probably say my advice is, um, let's see, what would I say?
Hey, look,
Ra-
put you on the
ra-
spot.
yeah, raise your, really raise your kids in the way you want them to go. Kids are like arrows, so they're in your quill. You shoot them out. They go left, they go right, but you want them to hit the target, and the target is the things that you taught them as a kid. If So I think a lot of times now we let the world raise our kids rather than us
Yeah.
as parents. We let the what the TV says and what the culture says, and then the culture's not always right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, not always. They're more times wrong than right. So,
Yeah.
um, don't teach your kids stuff. Tell them what's right, what's wrong. You can always start at, you're never too young. They're never too young to understand what's good and what's bad in this world and what they should stay away from. Because if you don't, when they get older and they get around these other things, they go to college, or they get phones and they get exposed to the internet. You don't want that to be the first time they see some of this stuff that were trying to shield them from. They need to know it exists, and they need to know that they should stay away from it, or this is something that is good, this is something that isn't good. And I don't
Yeah.
think those boundaries are set real well right now with this generation. And
Yep.
I
Yep.
think we'll send our kids to school and we let this and be like, well, the school will teach them, XYZ, whatever,
They
we
not.
don't know what the teachers in there teaching them.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not teaching. They're
They're not teaching,
not teaching what
I
we want them to teach them.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
education's important and all that stuff, but you got to be careful. So you got to draw a line. So that would be my advice to somebody. Just
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy you say that, AB, because like even with sometimes with the missus, like she'd be like, oh well, she's only 4, and then be like, I kind of, this might sound bad, but I kind of correlate it to like training a puppy. Like, it's like I've always had big dogs. So it's like I've always like, they're all, when they're puppies, they're like very small. So it's like, oh, let's have them on a couch. Let's have them in my lap. Let's have them lay down with us and stuff like that. And I was like, I had to like especially with our dog Kane, I used to have to tell her like all the time, like, no, you can't let him on the couch. You can't lay down in the bed with him. And you're like, why? He's just so small and cute. It's like because small dogs become big dogs, and big dogs think they're still puppies, and they're gonna try to do everything that they can when as they'll think they're still the same little cute puppy that you had them in their lap and in bed. And it's like it took her a minute for when he finally got like when he stopped being a puppy and he started getting into doghood, and then she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, no, you're right. Like he always trying to sit on my lap." I was like, "I'm trying to tell you, like So it's like kind of like that
Yeah.
with kids. It's like you like she'd be like, "Oh, she's only 2 or she's only 4." I'm like, "Yeah, but if it starts now, like they
Yeah.
build those habits, and if you don't correct those habits now, it's never gonna they're not gonna just pick, it's not gonna switch hit a light switch in their brain and just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stop this. Like
Yeah.
it's like even like being a picky eater, like you got to kind of like force them. And sometimes it sucks as a parent because you hate to see your kids like get upset, cry, complain, or anything like that, but just like you kind of got to put them through there to be like, all right, like that you got to go through this. Like
Yeah.
you can't be a picky eater because there's gonna be some day you're gonna be a college student and you're not gonna have a choice on what you eat. Like it's just not gonna happen.
You
Or
got to go to the calf and see what they got.
yeah,
Yeah.
like like
I had to tell Dakota that all the time.
survival skills kick in, like so it it's a whole bunch of stuff that you got to kind of teach them as they grow.
Yeah, I'll be like, this ain't Golden Corral.
I
Now
know.
we got pizza, and then you got, this, and the school only gonna have one option. So you better,
Y'all
uh,
hear me? Y'all
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, you're good.
yeah, you're good. I don't know what
Sorry, I
happened.
don't know why it just cut out.
It's all good. It's telling us it's time to go. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
it's past AB's bedtime. That's what
Yeah.
he put in a
Hey,
cup.
So,
He be complaining about I be putting these 2K cheat codes into the game to help me win.
oh,
So he puts in a little code in when he feels sleepy to, oh, it's technical difficulties.
it's difficult.
yeah.
He be cutting it off. Now
Well, we
that's funny, man.
appreciate you coming on, man. We
Yeah,
really had really good conversation, and I'm sure people who are gonna watch this, back later on, or whoever was watching it live, definitely gonna get some good tidbits, great gems on business building, barbering, photography. So yeah, there's a lot to go through on this episode. I wish we had another hour to talk, but we try to keep it at a tight hour. We're already actually over. So, but we
definitely.
appreciate you coming on, and we hope you return in a later episode. We can have like an update. Maybe next year we'll do like returns and be like update episodes or something.
Yeah, I might have to come back this season, man. I don't like how I came on. I had to set up. Everything went to shambles. So, but no. I appreciate you guys so much for having me, man. It was a pleasure to be here, you gentlemen. I'll be watching y'all stuff on TikTok too and liking. So I try to support as much as I can.
Appreciate the support.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, always more than welcome to come back on. We'll definitely get you on when we can. Definitely try to get a new person on each week. But we have no shame in our game. We always put return great guests. So you're more than welcome to always come back on Club 2625.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you guys, man.
All right, AB, got anything?
No, well, you guys have a good weekend. If you'd like to come on the show, remember you can message us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. We'd love to have you on. Please like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're at, wherever you're watching this. Share this out. If you think this was helpful to somebody, share it to them. Everyone's got a person in their life that you're like, hey, I'm trying to help them get on a better path. You never know, one of these videos might help them. If they
Yeah,
have some type of interest in maybe being a barber or join the military. We've had quite a variety of guests on so far. So
yeah.
definitely share this stuff out. And we appreciate y'all watching. And y'all have a good weekend, King Diamond and I. Yeah, anything else?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I knew he was gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
that
We got to get him out of here, y'all. We got to get him out of
in.
here.
Security. No, I'm just playing. No, as always, we'll have his social media usernames and everything in the details. Go follow him. Hell of a barber. He cuts. He's my therapist. He's been my therapist for the last it's 25, so the last 6 years or so, six,
Yeah,
7 years,
man,
something like that.
crazy. That's
The
crazy.
brotherhood always, the bond's been there for that long, and it's going to continue to be there. So we'll put all his social medias, his ats, check out his new projects, and he posts them all the time and stuff like that. So we'll
Say your
definitely
thing.
give you those shouts outs as much as possible. But as always, you don't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here. It's the 2635 Club. Positive mindsets make positive outcomes. Deuces, guys.
Peace out, y'all. Have a good weekend.
You too, man.